Sometimes all the Yugi drama, the yearly Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying discussion and the bad matter in general. Sometimes all of that combined leads us to forget that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just a game. A game that needs to be fun, because if it isn't, why even play it? That was my biggest problem the last few weeks. I mean, I really do like the Fiendsmith engine. What I do not like is how they are used currently. It's boring, unoriginal, and it just restricts creativity. The current power level in general is just way too high for an engine like Fiendsmith to even exist. And yet here we are, having miserable mirror matches, a meta full of stun and shifter, and no fun at all. It was so bad that I tried to record gameplay for a new video, and after a few matches I just couldn't do it. The gameplay was so bad and boring, over and over again the same stuff, and in between some stun and tempai. I just closed the game. I was actively losing the fun in the game in general, even though I really do love the game. That's why I decided to change something, add personality back into the game, creativity, and most importantly, fun. That's why I present you Yubel Without Fiendsmith. A lot to process, right? But just be open about it and let me explain. I even included some replays. Before we start though, in the community post I made, I promised to give the first one to guess the completely new card in the extra deck correctly to give a shout out. So, shout out to Nux. It's Silhouette Rabbit and I love that card so much. The funny thing is here, I never expected that new card would be guessed so quickly. Nux was literally the first one to comment and he immediately guessed it right. I was sitting in front of my computer being like, yeah, they won't guess that card so quickly. Notification, Silhouette Rabbit, and bro, nice one. Okay, at first glance the deck list seems very weird and it's even a lot different in comparison to the Phantom of Yubel deck build we played before Fiendsmith came out. Why is that? The reason for that is quite simple. I literally tested everything. The Promethean Princess build, the Unchained build, I even created a Runic Yubel build. I was so down bad. And everything besides the Runic version that was surprisingly competent, everything just felt like it was Fiendsmith Yubel, just a lot worse. And I really do not like that. First, Bot Breaker completely obliterate the previous Phantom of Yubel version, and second, I do not think we have to play a light version of Fiendsmith Yubel. We have so much more room in the deck than Fiendsmith Yubel in general that we can do something the Fiendsmith version can't. Capitalizing on the strength of Yubel. The float effects, the fusion effects, combined with the ability to be surprisingly good on a mid-range level. Like, I can spoil one thing, that deck isn't a combo deck anymore. At least I wouldn't say so. I have created a new endboard, a new combo that is highly resistant against Evenly, Droplet, literally every board breaker, while being strong enough to stun the opponent and then go for game with Anguish, Access Code and Varudras. Even Almirage and Muckraker are back. Literally the whole gang is back together. It's unbelievably more fun and a lot better going second thanks to the flexibility in the extra deck. Anyways, before I show you the combo and then maybe even some replays against Boardbreaker, let me explain to you the deck list. Terror Incarnate is back, and I do believe without Fiendsmith, Terror Incarnate provides enough value itself to be worthy a slot in the main deck. Double Spirit, OG Yubel and 1 Shavara. Literally nothing changes, that ratio is completely fine. Double Beckoning Beast and Double Opening. Without Fiendsmith, that engine in hindsight seems very weak. Still, you can do stuff if you open them, and they are just great extender, great to draw in the grind game. I do think 2 and 2 is completely fine. Double Squirmer, that is something I might change in the future. Just for now I just couldn't fit a third one, and he is a bit weird without Fiendsmith or Moon of the Closed Heaven, so Currently it works completely fine at 2, maybe in the future that is something I could see myself upping to 3 again, currently it's fine. Remember, it's not a combo deck anymore. A playset of Lotus to max out on the Yubel engine starters without Fiendsmith is more important than ever. Because now you actually have to see them, you can't just bridge into them by having 2 monsters on the field, that's not doable. I again try to work out Board Breaker, and I do believe that version works a lot better with Board Breaker than the Fiendsmith Yubel version does, because now it actually has some extra deck slots reserved for going second. We will talk about Super Poly in a minute, don't worry about that. 1-for-1, a playset of Rise Map and Terraforming. I do believe we need to play a playset of that. That card is a lot better than Prosperity, and we desperately need to see Yubel engine. In that case, for example, we can grab Samsara. That is my reasoning for 1-for-1, Terraforming and the playset. Currently, so far, it works great. Called by the Grave, because now we actually have enough space in the main deck for it. My love-hate relationship, Super Poly. Let me explain. I do not really believe Super Poly is that great in general. That card alone won't ever be enough to beat a meta deck going second. But a lot of people don't expect, if you play Yubel, that you have Super Poly in the main deck. And then Super Poly can be kinda broken. People do not respect a Yubel on the field anymore since they are not afraid of Super Poly, because no one in their right mind would play that card with Fiendsmith. Luckily we are not playing Fiendsmith, which makes it then a kinda good board breaker, and if you go first, it's still broken. Currently I'm testing the Poly package, but so far I'm impressed. Double Nightmare Pain. Without Fiendsmith in a more grindy version of the deck, playing 2 is good. Escape of the Unchained. A better matchup against so many decks and a new combo. We'll show you in a minute. I don't know how that card is correctly pronounced in English, but I do believe Azurune, I don't know. But that card is solely here because of the rabbit. It fits perfectly into the deck, and I will explain everything in the combo. Eternal Favorite. A way better matchup into all of the shifter decks, a better grind game, and if no one expects that card, it's hella broken. I mean, do I even have to explain the extra deck? It's just beautiful, okay? We have Loving Defender, of course a playset of Phantom, Super Poly, Varudras is back, Access Code and Anguish, our brothers are back, we have Yama, Rage, SP, the new edition, Mug and Mirage. Everyone is here. The side deck is just an example, you can adjust it to your liking or to your local meta, but I would at least suggest to play something like Gustav Max to go into if it's time. That deck has the essence of Yubel, a better grind game than the Yubel Fiendsmith deck, can actually go for game with ease, going second, and is a lot more resilient against shifter decks, stun decks, and against a lot of other board breaker. Before I show you a few replays to visualize you how good that deck is against board breaker, I will try to show you the new one-card combos. Before I show you that, one Samsara can achieve the same as one Throne. So basically in a way the same scheme as currently in Yubel Fiendsmith. Activating Throne, adding Samsara, normal Samsara, effect Spirit, Spirit effect set Nightmare Pain effect popping Spirit, adding Squirmer. Chainlink 1 Spirit, Chainlink 2 Nightmare Throne. Getting both OG Yubel forms into rotation, and now, since we do not go into Varudras going first, we can fuse Samsara and Spirit in the graveyard into Phantom, like we are not even playing a little bit into Nibiru. Squirmer effect, special summon, link OG Yubel and Squirmer into Yama. Yama will grab Shavara. Squirmer effect, special summoning the OG Yubel, and now we link Yama and Terror Incarnate into Silhouette Rabbit. Rabbit effect to set Azurune. Just for clarification, Azurune is a summon negate and the rabbit is basically a spell trap pop if you need it and use it correctly. In my testing so far, the most effective target for Azurune is Closed Heaven or Requiem, so to basically cut off the enemy from the Fiendsmith engine. Shavara effect popping the Yubel. Yubel effect to get Terror Incarnate to the field. Now we link both Shavara and Terror Incarnate into Rage. Shavara effect to set the escape, and that is the end board. I was not lying to you, it's not a combo deck anymore, but even though at first glance that end board seems kinda weak, it is everything but that. Tenpai is currently running Featherduster, Lightning Storm, Dark Hole, Raigeki, literally everything. So for me important is to have Yama in the graveyard, so if anything happens, we have a little bit of recursion. I mean, if they have it, they just have it. It doesn't matter if you play Yubel Fiendsmith or anything else. Tempai is just a cancer to play against. But you at least have some sort of resilience against it. I mean, if Rage gets popped, you can add back a Fiend monster, and with Yama you have a little bit recursion. It's better than nothing. And oh boy, if they don't have it, you will clap them so damn hard. I mean, let them activate the field spell. You now have Escape and the Rabbit, both cards that can pop the field spell. The Tempai matchup is a lot better with that version of the deck. By the way, Evenly isn't good against that deck. Droplet, also not good. If your opponent goes into the battle phase and they activate Evenly, I can explain to you what you do then. You chain Escape, popping the Rage and anything else you want to keep in the graveyard, and then Evenly resolves, you just banish the Rabbit and the Nightmare Throne and any set card, and you keep Phantom. On resolve after Evenly, you activate Rage and Yama, getting Grind Game and Raged back to the field, so Evenly basically did almost nothing and you survived that turn 100%. And since we rely on the trap card for it, it doesn't even matter if they have Dark Ruler or Droplet plus Evenly, since we can still activate Escape and survive the Evenly. It's great. I mean, let them use Dark Ruler or Droplet, you can still activate Escape, get Grind Game or Rage Life again even, and if you wait with Azurune, you can even save it so it's protected against Droplet or Dark Ruler if they have to use it first. It's very resilient and a lot better than it looks at first glance. The Evenly example, please keep in mind I will not show the complete replay, I will do another video where I play that deck actively, where I go over everything more in depth. I'm playing against White Forest Runic here. He proceeded to the battle phase, had Flashing Fire for Phantom and then activated Evenly. What do I do here? I chain Escape, targeting Samsara and Rage, and then I chain Eternal Favorite. In hindsight, I do think I misplayed here. I shouldn't have used Eternal Favorite. For some reason it was really important for me to keep a Yubel on the field, which isn't really that, I mean, it doesn't make sense at all. It would have been way better to just keep Azurune, but it worked out in the end. Special summoning Yubel, and then after Evenly resolved, I can activate Rage to target the Samsara to have enough Grind Game in the following turn, and then I chain Yama to reborn the Rage, so I basically live the turn and still have interruptions and Grind Game through Evenly. Don't forget, normally Phantom is also here, but he had Flashing Fire for Phantom, so I couldn't get access back to Phantom. Rage plus Phantom through Evenly is very good, and especially keeping in mind again that we don't rely on a monster to achieve that, so even if they had Droplet or Dark Ruler on top of that, we still would have that board after Evenly, plus Grind Game, which is excellent. Example number 2 against Featherduster, and I do think Droplet. He chained Featherduster and I just wanted to activate everything because why not, I was playing the game, and after I chained Azurune, that card will still be destroyed even if you chain it to back row destruction. He chained Schedule and then I realized, oh boy, it's Tempai. I mean, it's basically Tempais, it's Ancient Gears. I chained Eternal Favorite to get another Yubel back, and then he chained Droplet, which I had to respond with Escape, and there's a funny interaction with Droplet here. If you destroy too many monsters on your side of the field with Escape in response to Droplet, Droplet can under some circumstances not resolve. For example, he chained Droplet since he had 2 cards on field already and he still had to use 1 from hand, so if he would have waited with that, he basically would need to discard his entire hand. For example, he sent 3 cards with Droplet, so on the resolution of Droplet he has to negate 3 monsters. If there are only 2 monsters left on field, he cannot resolve Droplet. That's why Escape is just very good. Droplet basically went into the nothing. And after that he special summoned a lot, I get Rage back, I have Yama, Grind Game, I have everything. Look at that, he had Droplet and Featherduster, and he still lost with Urgent Schedule. That deck is just insane and so much fun. I mean, try it out, trust me, you will love it. See ya.